Hello and welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton, here once again to review movies. Oh, the humanity! So there are two movies that got wide release this week. One of them was an international feature nominee for the Oscars called The Teacher's Lounge. Finally came to South Florida. And the other was one that was a new release, which is Out of Darkness, a British Scottish film filmed in Scotland. And I say the humanity because both of these movies extremely different, not related in any way whatsoever, but have very common themes and approach those themes very differently, obviously, just based on, and the theme really being, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be to really in its core to relate to others? How are you going to, really a big one, how are you going to react to extraordinary situations? And that's a really common thing in film, but it's really the basis of these two movies. Like, obviously character development is always heavily designed around, well, how do you react to situations? But this is just really like interpersonal growth as a human television viewing. Very different from, like, I don't know, Argyle, for example, which we did last week with Sergio. So let's get it rolling. So Germany's nominee for Best International Feature is The Teacher's Lounge. I gotta say, wow, I see why it was nominated. 2023 was just an absolute banger year for films. It's unbelievable, unfriggin' believable. The lead in this one is played by a young German woman, Leonie Bensesh. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. So, but I, like, instantly in my top 5 leading female performances, probably number 3 or 4. No, number 4. Okay, it's number 4 because number 1 and 2 is Anatomy of a Fall and Lily Gladstone, and then number 3 is Margot Robbie. So we're going number 4 just off the top of my head. I'm sure if I sat down and looked at it and thought about it, I'd just a banger year for film, a banger year for female lead roles. Okay, so this movie is about a young teacher in Germany, a German suburb type of situation where within the school, a teacher has had some money getting stolen. Has money gotten stolen, and he suspects somebody from the class of the teacher, Carla Novak. And so the movie opens with the sort of like the that teacher who got stolen from, and who the person who I took to be sort of like the leader of the teachers, like the head teacher, not to be confused with the principal or vice principal, but like a teacher who is basically like the union rep almost, interrogating to the class representatives within the class who speak for the other students, and they're saying, hey, do you guys have any idea who might have done this? And a minority student, some Arabic speaking, not really clear at all where he's from, but clearly somebody from the Middle East, is accused completely falsely by one of the two classroom leaders. And it turns out that day they like search all the boys' wallets, and he has a bunch of cash. And this leads to just a cascading of, you know, the teacher, the Carla Novak is an idealist, and the actress here just the actor plays just does an amazing job of playing a woman who was obviously she's Polish. Um, you know, they established during the movie that her parents were either refugees or immigrants, and obviously, you know, before, you know, in the 90s, before there was heavy Arabic influx of Middle Eastern people, immigrants moving into the area, you know, you could assume that there was an influx of people from this former Soviet bloc, and so she's probably like seen false accusations and uh doubting of you know, minorities for no other reason other than they're minorities, and it does not like it at all, does not like it at all. And so she really stands up for this student and is very protective of her students, but then she decides to try to catch the thief, and it leads to the suspicion of basically sort of like the front desk worker at the school, who also happens to be the mother of one of the students in her class, and everything just falls apart from there. I mean, just her entire everything falls apart, and she tries really hard to maintain her idealism while just being a, you know, her herself being accused of doing terrible things, including but not limited to you know, invading people's privacy by setting up by leaving leaving her computer camera on while she is away from the computer, and thereby, you know, catching a film of somebody stealing money from her wallet, and all you see is a shirt, and it's a distinctive shirt. It, it, it it's an hour and a half of absolute banger film. I mean, this movie is an absolute banger film. I would drop Maestro and kick this right into the you know, best picture category in a heartbeat. It's that good. Um, God, the it's such a good year in film. This is a film that, like, if it had come out last year or probably like 2 or 3 years ago, number one or two movie of the year, easily number one or two movie. It'd been, you know, since COVID, it's been really stark with what's been coming out, and this is a film. Um, I you've got to find it. Just this is a character study of can somebody maintain their idealism when confronted with reason to go against their idealism, and I, I'm going for tacos with guac here at Real to Real Talk. We do taco ratings, and if you want to add a little bit extra, we put guacamole on the tacos. Why? Because nobody eats a half a fucking taco. That's why you can't do it. You bite into the taco, you're finishing the damn thing. So we add guac. I'm going for tacos plus guac, and honestly, the only reason is because I think I have like 7 movies that I've given 5 tacos to, or 5 tacos or more to this year, and I can't. There's got to be a delineation, and this is a delineation. It is not, you know, I could list off the movies that it's not quite as good as, but I could also list off the movies that it's way better than, and they are all from like the past 3 years. This is an absolute must-see movie. I highly recommend it if you have an opportunity to check it out. The next movie is a prehistoric horror thriller, Out of Darkness, and this is a fun one. Why? Because they invented a language. That's always a good time for everyone, right? You know, so yeah, I got 2 movies right off the bat where you're reading subtitles. Out of Darkness. So the concept here is that there is I'm not even going to call it a tribe. It's a family, an extended family, but a family nonetheless of six, a family of six who are entering a new land. Again, prehistoric time. Um, they've done a arduous crossing of a body of water to get to this new land, because the land that they were on before, for some reason, there there was a dying off of a herd of some type of buffalo or cattle or whatever that they would normally hunt, and so they were concerned that if they didn't move, they would starve, and so they decided to do this trek to find a new area. Of course, when they get there, in order to reach the caves, which are shelter, they have to they either have to walk around or cross the forest, and which is dangerous. And so they decide to walk around. They are led by a man named Adam, Adem. He is sort of the patriarch of these six people. His sort of wife, carrying his child, is Ave, Eva, Ave. And then he has his son with him, Heron. And then there is also his brother, Gear, and two like glommers on. There's Odal, who is an elder from the larger tribe that they were with before, and a stray, literally that's what they call her, a stray, Bea. And everybody has their own. It's a really fascinating movie, and everybody has their own job. Everybody is doing their own thing. Adam and Gear are responsible for hunting, and they are having a hard time finding any food in this new area. And so they decide that they're going to have to do something drastic when demons make their presence known. And so now they're having to deal with the demons of this new land, and that tests whether or not they can keep this family bond together. The sort of the elder is very very much against, very hugely afraid of the demons, and very much against uh saving everybody. He very into, like, somebody's got to go if most of us are going to make it through. And strange things start to happen. Heron is taken from them, and they try to chase Heron down. Obviously it happens in the middle of the night. They have to wait until daylight. And in chasing Heron down, they incur the wrath. They actually have to go through the forest, which incurs the wrath of the demons. And it's just bad things happen to this family. Just really bad things happen until they are confronted with the demons. And it's, man, I don't want to spoil this, because this is not a perfect movie. It is not a perfect movie, but it's a really, really interesting one. And the way that they present the situation that they have, and this, and the just these people who have very little to build their knowledge off of, and who they listen to and who they don't listen to, and the choices they make, and how those choices impact others. And it's just, man, it's really good. But it's not great. I really, there's a lot of things that it's just like, it's difficult too. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It's just so parts of this movie are really, really tough, but it's a very taut hour and a half. I definitely want to see this again. I would definitely say that, like, to somebody, yeah, let's pop this in. So I'm going 3 tacos for this one. I haven't seen Lisa Frankenstein. That's the other major release that came out this past weekend. I would tell people, go see this over Lisa Frankenstein, just based off of my impressions of what Lisa Frankenstein would be like. I feel like Lisa Frankenstein is something that I'm going to get a pretty good feeling for when it comes home. But if you're going to a theater, strongly consider going to Out of Darkness. I really, really liked it. It visually, it plays on a big theater. It really does. It's not great. It's not great, but it's really interesting, and I think that says something. Let's move to the streaming movies. We've got two streaming movies. I'm going to hit these really close. We've got Suncoast on Hulu. This follows a family whose matriarch is Laura Linney. There is a daughter who is Doris. That's right. Doris is the daughter, and then there's a son. The son has brain cancer, terminal, non-communicative, can't do anything for himself. And we entered the movie by they're getting ready to move the son into hospice, and it's taking place in the same space and the same time as Terry Schiavo was in hospice, in this exact same hospice where this family is going. So this is a semi-autobiographical telling by Laura Chin. This is her first theatrical, feature major release. Obviously not a theater, major release to anything, and it happens to be streaming on Hulu. And it's and basically, okay, so I'm just gonna say this movie has problems. One of the biggest problems I have with this movie is that we are presented with terrible parent, okay, which is fine. We can have terrible parents. Laura Linney is a terrible parent, and the entire time, by the end of the movie, that terrible parent is going to remain terrible throughout the film, and then at the very end of the film is going to just be forgiven and be okay that this parent was just as terrible as she was. And I have a problem with that. Woody Harrelson plays Paul, a protester protesting against the murdering of Terry Schiavo, which is absurd. And so it, I get what this movie's trying to do. It's well acted. I feel terribly if this is exactly for Laura Chin, if this is exactly how her life went down. God, that would be terrible, losing your brother to brain cancer. And it's a the what's going on in this movie is really, really tough to. It basically follows Doris as she tries to just gain some normalcy now that her brother isn't in the house anymore, and her mother is spending all of her time with her brother. She's going to try to move on and make friends at a school that she's new to, and Laura Linney is just the absolute worst person. Like, it's just like, no, terrible. They made her too terrible. Like, honestly, irredeemably terrible in my mind. Like, look, I'm going to Tacos Plus Guac. It's on Hulu. It's an hour and a half, just over. It's not, it's not the worst thing you're going to watch on streaming this year. But also, like, it is not, or it's an hour 50. It is not an easy watch. It is not an easy hang. It's pretty tough. And so take that with you as you will. But yeah. And then the last movie I'm going to cover is a bit of throwaway. I call that because it just popped up on Prime and I didn't see any like advertising on around it or anything. It's a romantic comedy called Upgraded. It tells a story of Anna, who works for an auction house where she's trying to make basically an intern, an unpaid intern right now after, getting her master's degree, because she wants to have her own gallery. And in order to get a gallery, you need funding. In order to get funding, you need a reputation. In order to have a reputation, you need one of these big wigs to vouch for you that, yeah, you know what the hell you're talking about. She is the employee of Claire, played impeccably by Marissa Tomei. And Marissa Tomei, her boss, has to go to London all of a sudden, and she's going to drag Anna with her. And this is a paint by numbers romantic comedy, people. I mean, that she gets she gets upgraded to first class. Guess what? Well, when upgraded to first class, she meets a rich guy, rich, young, handsome guy who takes an interest in her. Guess what? She lies about who she is. Guess what? Rich guy falls for her and says, "You're so real. I love that you're real and you're not just playing me for my money and you're real, even though you're super rich too." Guess what? The family falls in love with her too. Guess what? She's doing super in her job. Guess what? It all comes crashing down. Guess what? She finds a way to build it back up again. This is just everything that happens in this movie. Every single thing that happens in this movie. You could have, like, if you've seen more than 15 romantic comedies in your life, you would have been able to sit down and be like, here's the outline of the movie. Am I right? And I'd be like, yeah, that's absolutely 100% what happens. So, I mean, is it watchable? Yes, it's watchable. Everybody's super attractive. If you just, and Marissa Tomei really is really funny and fantastic. Not, on the same stratosphere as oh my god, Devil Wears Prada. Like, just not even in the same, you know, not even in the same planet, really. Meryl Streep playing the Wears Prada lady is just, but she's trying to channel her inner Meryl Streep. Marissa Tomei, I love you. You're not Meryl Streep, and that's okay. You don't have to be. You're plenty good in this. If you're looking for something to watch on Valentine's Day and you're not going to be really watching it, you know what I mean? This is a good one for you. I, however, give it 2 tacos. They're perfectly fine 2 tacos, but it's just 2 tacos, and you're probably going to be wishing you had more. That's what I got for you today, guys. I appreciate you coming out. Next week, it's great. 3 weeks in a row, bang, bang, bang. I'm getting international best international feature releases. So this week it was the Teacher's Lounge. This coming week I'm getting the Taste of Things from France, and then next week, the week after that, it's Perfect. I want to say it's Perfect Day. It's the Japanese submission from Vim Vendors. Anyway, so you're gonna get, it's leading up to the Oscars perfectly to go bang, bang, bang. Oscar movie, 3 in a row. I'm super excited about it. I hope you'll join me next week. I'm also going to check out the Bob Marley movie, and if I can swing it, I'm going to get to Madam Web. No promises on that one. Getting to 3 movies in a theater is really not super easy. But anyway, such is my life. Love you all. Thanks for coming out, and get yourselves out to the theaters, huh? All right, thanks. Bye.